Peter Eliades with you. This is Stock Market Cycles Update for Monday, May 23rd. If you notice something a little bit different about me today, well, we'll keep it a mystery. You either notice or you don't. Okay, this is going to be one of those simulcasts for YouTube and for paid subscribers. The last YouTube update we did was, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I think it was May 7th. It was right here. Right at this close here, where we would close right on the trend line, and we said that trend line was most likely going to be broken with a strong decline over the next few days, and then some kind of bottom would be reached and we'd start to see a rally. Pretty good rally too. Well, we saw the beginnings of that rally, but now we pulled back again, and as we pulled back, we told you that would be the only way to get even lower projections, and that indeed happened. Because this move up created this offset, or these offset lines, the red and blue. And as we broke below those, from this close right here, below the offset lines, we got this even lower projection, okay? On the S&P, these are closing price projections. Now, the intraday projections, interestingly enough, have been met. But these are closing price projections, and they're calling for a big decline. It could happen possibly in one day. It could happen tomorrow. 37.71.31 to 38.26.50. That's what it's calling for. Now, mind you, again, we're in a position where you cannot get any lower projections than that in this time zone. You can, again, have yourselves a good rally and form another offset line and come down and break it for even lower projections. That's not going to happen ad infinitum. Theoretically it could, but it's not going to, because the longer term projections are telling us that we've reached some kind of bottom. Not an important one, mind you, at least in my eyes, but some kind of bottom, okay? So here's the downside closing price projection for the S&P. The other thing I will have you notice is that here's the vertical line where we closed today. If we go over one day, it takes us right on this vertical line. And if we even have a sideways move, never mind an up move, that invalidates this downside projection. And there's nothing but clear air above us and up on top here to start getting upside projections. But until this projection is either met or invalidated, we have to look again for these lower prices to be seen, okay? So that's on the S&P. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ 100. Okay, here's the NASDAQ 100. We put this rectangle in well back in time, way back here somewhere, when we got this offset projection for the 5-week offset equivalent on the daily chart, 24.2 to 27.6. And obviously, we came down into that projection window after we had done this update on YouTube, this update right here. For our subscribers, you know that this has worked out perfectly. We got this upside projection, came up and met it on a closing basis. Then we started down again and now have broken below this 3.5 to 4 trading day offset nominal 10-day projection. And so here's the projection for the NDX. 11,326.90 to 11,573.51 rounded off, okay? Again, this is closing price projections, and the same thing holds for the NDX. Here's where we close today on a vertical line basis. This will be tomorrow. Any kind of sideways to up close tomorrow will invalidate this downside projection, and we have clear air up here to start rallying, okay? So I continue to believe the path of least resistance from these levels is to the upside, at least for the short and maybe the intermediate term, okay? I can't tell you how great a rally this will be until we start moving up and getting projections. Okay, let's look at the Dow. Notice on all of these, I don't know if I didn't point it out on the other ones, this is the exponential 10-day, which I always advertise as being a great short-term trend indicator. We came up to that today. Let me show you the bar chart. Notice how we came up virtually exactly to the exponential 10-day. could not get above it, turned down, not much, turned down a little bit, okay? But overnight, as you can see, the NASDAQ futures are down 154 points. So the same thing applies here. We have this downside projection. When and if this is met, I think, again, we'll see an important bottom. Maybe just a short-term one, maybe intermediate term, but we should get an excellent rally from there, okay? This is on the Dow, and the projection on the Dow calls for 3806 and 31002 rounded off. That's on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, we've pointed out over the past several days to our paying subscribers that Bitcoin, you could argue, has met all downside projections, at least on a minimal basis. So what do you look for if you're thinking about playing alongside or looking for a long position in Bitcoin? This is BTC USD symbol. Watch the exponential 10-day right here. Notice how perfectly it held prices back here, okay? All the way back to the breaking of that exponential 10-day on April 5th. Look at this. Look at the perfection of this thing. A tiny little close above it here, but that's it. Came up, stopped exactly at it, down. Up, stopped exactly at it, down. Up, penetrated by a tiny bit, immediately moved down again. So watch this exponential 10-day. Today it closed at 30,269 and change, okay? All right, that's it for Bitcoin. And that's going to wrap up the update. Important times here. I believe we've got a chance for a rally that's going to surprise a lot of people. The ideal way to see it take place would be to meet the downside closing price projections we just gave you. And that would be a big decline if those are met. I think in the S&P, we're talking about probably 120, 130 points. So you're talking about 3% to the downside. That will scare a lot of people, especially down at these levels. Let's take one last look at the S&P. Okay, here's where we close today. Here's where the projection is, okay? Write these numbers down. I think they're very important. If we see these numbers in the next day or two, we could see them as early as tomorrow. If we do see them, I think there's an excellent chance that we've seen some kind of bottom. When I say some kind, believe me, I'm still very, very, very much a bear long term, even intermediate to long term. But this market breathes in and it breathes out, as my buddy Joe Granville used to say. And it's been breathing down this way for quite a while now. I think we have an excellent chance of seeing a rally that will surprise a lot of people. Anyway, these are the projections to watch for. If we go sideways to up on a closing basis tomorrow, these projections will be invalidated and we could see the beginning of a good rally begin right there and then. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to our regular subscribers tomorrow.